Renee Adorna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kurt, so much or K-Rock.
You can call me Kurt or
Yeah.
K-Rock.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You're one of my favorite singers.
Well, thanks.
Well, get this. There's about a dozen female-led bands in the area. I did some research. In
Wow.
fact, Jacked Up's obviously one of them.
Yep.
But of all the female singers, lead singers, and I'm not just saying this because you're here today.
Okay.
You can ask any of my friends, they'll admit to this. I think you have the best voice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You have the definition of a big voice because people sometimes use that term loosely, like a big voice. But when I think of a big voice, I think of power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you project really well. I mean, your voice is just booms across the stage.
Well, thank you. Because when I say who I am to other people and I'm not in costume, they'll say, all they remember is my costume changes. They never say, oh my God, I love your voice or.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Yeah.
So you're the lead singer of Gas House Gorillas.
Yes.
I assume you're the founder as well.
Yeah. Tommy and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tommy is?
My husband and the drummer of the band. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how many years has Gas House been around?
This year, in 2025, we'll be celebrating 25 years.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. And it's gone by quick.
25 years. Wow.
Very quick.
I mean, you guys, when you play, especially in Charlotte County, when you
Mhm.
guys play, man, you have a huge following. And I think over the years you've worked really, really hard to build a huge following.
I mean,
You have
They,
a lot of loyal fans.
we do. And it's funny as we started in Venice and never played Port Charlotte, and we actually played up in Sarasota and Venice. That's it. We concentrated on that when we first started. And we used to play clubs like 5 O'Clock Club, which is no longer.
I remember that place.
Yep. The Cabana.
I remember that place too.
And then mainly in Venice, there was a place called Levitans. And that's what really put us on the map. It was a nightclub in Bird Bay Plaza. And right now it's a thrift store. It's called Tidewell Thrift Store, is where Levitans used to be. And we would bring in huge crowds because it was the only place to go. And we'd have 500 people there when it was maybe our second year as Gas House Gorillas. And we'd play Club 41 and different places, but it was mainly all Venice. So we were a Venice-based band. And then we started breaking into Port Charlotte. And it just grew from there. I was shocked. I was really shocked.
We also have more venues now. For an example,
Yes.
the Twisted Fork.
Perfect.
One of
Yeah,
the greatest
awesome.
venues on the Florida Gulf Coast, I believe.
I believe too. Yep.
Venice has more opportunities to play now.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Carney's.
Yep.
We used to play a place called Cool Today Park. We played there.
Oh, you've played there? I haven't played there yet.
We played there.
Yeah, I'd like to get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Welland Park area.
And then there's obviously TT's.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more opportunities. And I think as musicians, I think we're blessed because I talk to my friends up in New York who still perform, and they're kind of jealous about how many opportunities we have here year round.
Yes.
Because we're always playing.
Yeah, we are.
We're up there, they got issues with weather and there's not as many venues. There's a lot more competition.
Yep.
So I think we're blessed.
In a way. And then we've got our summers.
And then we're cursed.
And then we are playing in extremely hot weather and wearing these costumes that I do. And I wear these same costumes in the heat and the hats and everything. And then sometimes we'll have extremely cold weather. We're like, if up north, would we ever play outside in 40-degree weather? But we do down here because we've had those shows. We played.
I personally love it.
The 40-degree weather?
I do.
That's a little chilly.
But tell us, so the costumes, tell us all about how that started.
So, okay. Well, in my very first band, I started singing at 16 in Wisconsin, and every band in Wisconsin did costume changes. So I have been doing costume changes since I was 16.
Why do you suppose that is? Like, why at that particular point in history and time, bands were deciding, and these were cover bands, why were they deciding to make changes?
I'm not sure. I don't
a David
know.
Lee Roth, Van Halen thing, or who was doing it? Alice Cooper.
I think it was more the bands that I saw do it in Milwaukee. The big band was called Gerard, and it was 2 girls, and they were the band that everybody, and so they did the costume changes, and it was kind of like, I don't know, I kind of thought about it as Cher or Madonna,
Okay.
doing the costume changes. And so I just thought, oh, well, I'm 16, so they were older than me. I just followed suit, moved down here 30 years ago, and just kept doing what I do. And then I ended up being the only person that was doing it. So it kind of made a niche for me.
Well, people love it. I mean, besides having a booming, great voice, you're also known for your costume changes.
Yes.
And people like the look. I mean, on July 4th, you had this American USA thing going.
Yeah. So I had my blue wings, and then I recently found out a very good friend of mine is actually used to do costume design because I have all these ideas in my head, but I can't sew for anything. And so she said, "You know, Renee, I used to do costumes." And I said, "Oh my God." Well, I think she's regretting those words. She made this coat for me. I'll show you the back, but I give her coats and she embellishes them to look amazing
That's
on
awesome.
stage. And so I had these blue wings and I said, "I've been pinning the flag inside of it. Can you just sew it in there so it looks a little more professional?" And so she actually sewed it into the wings.
So do you have somebody help you with these costumes when you have to make these changes, or
No,
do you do it on your break? So for an example, you're doing what, 2, 3 sets per show?
we're doing 2 sets now and they're each an hour and a half long. Um, and we used to play 4-hour shows and I just can't do it anymore. I have arthritis really, really bad. And one night, I mean, I was in tears after the show because your adrenaline's pumping. You don't feel it
Sure.
till after the show. And then I felt like my body was
Oh,
80.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
I have the same problems.
And I think it's the heat and we're just giving our all on stage. And then, yeah, like as soon as the adrenaline wears off, try to get out of Tommy's truck and I can barely get out of the
I
car.
know.
So I had to call all the clubs and say, "Look, I got to do just 3 hours. We only take one break. We'll play an hour and a half." I mean, that's a lot of music still. We're still getting in 36 songs
Well,
in
yeah.
in a 3-hour period because it's just,
Yeah, you guys don't mess around. You can play a
yeah,
lot of songs.
yep. So they really didn't lose anything. And actually taking one break keeps the audience instead of taking 2 breaks. Every time you take a break, you lose somebody,
How long
you
is that
know.
break do you guys take?
Well, my ours is about a half hour because I gotta go do the costume changes. Depends where I'm changing, like Sandbar, for instance. I have to use the bathrooms. So it's at the will of how long do I have to wait to get into
Sure.
the bathroom. And so yeah, they're about a half hour, but
And then you gotta
which
rest
isn't
your
bad.
voice, get a cold drink.
Yeah, well, and it is kind of nice, the costume changes, because you actually hurt your voice more talking to people than singing. Because when you're singing, you're breathing out, you're doing the proper breathing, you're breathing out of your diaphragm. But when you're talking to people, and you're kind of yelling over the music. So I'm kind of glad I do the costume changes and not having to wear down my
There
voice.
you go.
And it's helped me
So it's
out.
a little peace and quiet while you're
Yeah.
changing there for a few
Yep.
minutes.
And then I do talk to the audience after the show. I love talking to the fans, and it's not like I'm trying to avoid them, but it's
Yeah, you
actually
you
good.
seem to be always, approachable. I've
Yeah.
seen you at the merch booth before and after shows.
Yep.
Now tell us about are you using inner ears or are you using a wedge monitor
I'm
on
using a
stage?
wedge.
Okay.
Tommy and Frank have been on me about getting an in-ear, and I go, "Well, I have nowhere to put it on my costumes. My costumes are just like one piece, there's no pockets." And so that's my excuse. I know I could probably find
Have
somewhere
you
to
used it in the past? Inner
I've
ears?
never done it.
Yeah,
No.
because here's the deal. We use them for certain shows. Obviously, outdoors, you don't need them.
Mhm.
But when you're inside, especially like rooms that are difficult to mix, it makes a lot of sense to use them. So it took me a while to get used to it. But
Yeah.
now that I use them indoors, I'm a better singer because now I can hear everything and I can harmonize a lot easier.
Nice. That's what Frank says too. Frank went to an in-ear, and I just feel if I went to an in-ear, I'd be really shouting because when you wear something in like people have headphones on, they talk louder, and then I'd really be shouting at the crowd because I don't know. I don't think I can get used to
I
it.
think a lot of people have this situation with it. They feel like by putting in the ears, they're no longer involved in the party
Yeah.
because they can't hear what's going on around them when there's truth to that. For an example, I like to hear what's going on at the Gator Club, so I like to have not have them on because then I can hear what's going on and I feel like I'm part of the party.
Right.
But when I put them in, it's like, okay, I'm locked in now and I'm not able to do anything and I'm more like a robot because
Yeah.
I'm listening and I'm hearing. Now I'm a better performer, I think, with them, but
Right.
it's not as fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
And
I
it's
don't know. They say that you can still there's like new ones where you still can tune, like there's something you do on them and you hear the audience and you can hear what's going on stage, the talking and stuff. But I don't know. Tommy keeps pushing it on me
does
and I'm
Tommy
like,
wear them?
meh.
He
Yeah.
wears them
Does he? I know he has them. I don't know if he does wear
because
them.
Twisted Fork, you really don't need them because they have really good monitors there and it's a
Mm-hmm.
big stage. But
Yep.
you know what I'm doing now is I'm putting one in and I'm taking one out.
Right.
So I can hear what I need to hear, but yet I can still hear and talk to my bandmates.
Right.
Because a lot of times, for some reason, whenever I put the ears on, people talk to me, and I'm like, well, I hate that because then you got to take them out.
Yeah. Yep.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But so you guys have a really good mix, though. Now, who does your sound? You do it yourself, or do you bring in a sound
We
company?
used to do it ourselves, and then Artie became available.
The Wizard.
Yep, the wizard, and so we've been using him lately.
He's a good guy
Yep.
because I know that when we go to Twisted Fork, we have house sound,
Hmm.
but when you go to TT's, you have to do your own stuff.
Yes.
So that's when you hire Artie to come in.
All right. Well, we hire him for Sandbar.
Sandbar, yeah.
Stottlemyre's.
Stottlemyre's, right.
Right, yeah, all of our shows now because it just and it's our equipment though. So we set it all up. He brings his board, and I think he does that for Twinkle also. That's their equipment. He just brings his board.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out and invested in a lot of new equipment, so we do it ourselves.
Okay.
There's pros to that and there's cons to it.
Yep.
The pros are that it's cheaper because we don't have to pay somebody and we can control what we want. The cons is that if something goes haywire,
You got to
it's
leave
like
the stage. Yeah, you got to like stop the show and leave the stage and
well,
fix it.
my
Yeah.
my guitarist Larry, who's wireless, he has to go out in the audience, and well, we added a keyboard player now, so there's actually songs now where he can actually not have to play the first part of the song, and he can do sound while the keyboard and the bass are kind of filling in there.
Right.
So he's got the ability now to go out and do things, but still, you don't want your guy out there.
Right.
You don't want to deal with it. But sometimes, like we like to have it, like you set it and then you forget it.
Right.
So, for an example, like if we play Sandbar on a regular basis, well, we can just hit the button that says the save the Sandbar profile. So it'll automatically go to that mix that we had last time we were there,
Right.
and then you
Yeah,
just gotta
that's
make
what we were
then
doing.
you make the
Yeah.
finer
Hmm.
adjustments.
But then it changes when if the audience gets bigger, and then when people leave, and the water at Sandbar, if the tide's in or out, you'll hear I'm like, because I go, I'm real picky about sound, and I actually still have a very good ear, even though I've been singing all these years. Because I hear stuff, I'll hear it before it even feeds back. I'll say something's gonna feed, and and sure enough, something, like I catch it and drives Tommy nuts. But usually I'm right. He just does get kind of mad
That's
because
funny.
he thinks I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's cute.
Well, you guys are also known for a really wide song selection. Like you do a lot of stuff, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Yeah,
right?
I call
It's
it
a pretty
kind of
good mix.
eclectic. So people will say, "Well, what do you guys play?" And I go, and then it's kind of hard for me to even say, but I always bring up Mr. Billy Idol, of course. Billy Idol, Guns N' Roses. Then I'll say, then we'll do Jefferson Airplane, and or Adam Lambert. I mean, it's so funny. I throw an Adam Lambert song in there, because that actually I do for me, but it goes over.
But
But
but because
you
your
know,
voice is so strong, you could do a lot of male songs
hmm,
and female songs as well.
yep,
So like you can get high, you can get low,
yeah,
right? Like Journey's not easy to sing,
right. And
but
I do in the original
right.
key. Yeah, we don't lower it or anything. Very rarely do we lower the songs. And if I do lower them like a half step, it's because Frank's singing songs in a half step. So I don't want to keep having them change guitars. So
So
there's
you group
certain,
them, you
yeah. So
group
I
your
group
set.
them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
And there's still, I wish we could go song to song to song to song, but these guys play so hard. They constantly, like Frank will go out of tune quite a bit. He wants to make sure he's in it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he plays hard. He's so amazing.
Is he from New York, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of sense that.
Yeah. And he's got an amazing resume. Like, I'm still finding out stuff. Like, I just found out the other day he was almost in Bon Jovi, and his brother came to town. They hadn't seen each other in 15 years, and this was just last weekend. And he says, Frank was almost in Bon Jovi." And I said, "No, I didn't know that." And he goes, "Well, Bon Jovi's mother and our mother worked together, and Bon Jovi's mom said, 'Hey, my son's getting a band together. I know your son's a guitar player.' And she goes, 'Oh, my son's already playing all the New York clubs. Like, he doesn't have time for that.'"
Yeah.
And so they never I
Yeah.
mean, but that could have been. But I said, "Yeah, everything happens for a reason, because then I wouldn't have Frankie Idol." So I feel very special.
No, he's definitely talented. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But who makes up the set list, and how many songs do you think you have? How many cover songs? I mean, are we talking over 100?
No, no, no. Maybe 55. We've kind of kept the same. We've been adding new songs just recently. So we've added about 7 new songs in the last 5 months, because it's hard for us to get together and practice. Joey
Sure,
Fingers, our bass player, lives 2.5 hours away. He's in Spring Hill. And so for him to come all the way to Northport,
sure.
it's really tough. So we maybe practice once a month to bring in a new song,
And do
which
you pick this new song out based on
no,
what you can do, and then Frank, this you can see if Frank can play the lead properly, or is it the other way around?
nope. Frankie and Tommy pick all the songs.
And then they'll be like, "You can sing this, right?"
Yeah. And then I'm like, "I don't know." And then they're like, "Yeah, you can do it. You can do it." So then I gotta learn it. We just learned a Van Halen song,
Oh yeah, which one?
and Ain't Talking About Love.
Oh, what a great one.
Yeah. So we just tried it for the first time at Twisted Fork. And we never ever do this, but Joey was on his way to practice last Thursday, hit traffic and that rainstorm and all that. And he goes, "I'm not going to get to your house till 8:30." We said, "Turn around, go back home." So us three got together, and without him, And then we said, Joey, just know your part. We're gonna play it. We're gonna try it at Twisted
Sure.
Fork.
Sometimes that's the
So
best.
yeah, so the first time playing it together as a band was at Twisted Fork, and it went over pretty good.
Sometimes I think
So
we get so hung up on making sure everything's perfect.
yeah,
But the great thing about rock and roll, man, is like sometimes, if you just like everybody can just, all right, learn your part and let's do it live for the first time. And most of the time it works.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes you can have a train wreck, but
Right.
so you just laugh it off. Before we do something like that, I always say to the audience, pretend you're in Renee's garage in Northport, and then I just explain it to him and just say, this is either going to be great or it's going to be, fail big time. So yeah, but we did good. So,
So let's talk about how you got started in music, okay? Because obviously Gas House Gorillas is very successful, very popular. And if anyone's listening that hasn't seen you yet, I highly recommend you attend a Gas House Gorilla concert
thank you.
because
Yeah, it's fun.
you
It's
guys
really
are one of
fun.
my favorite bands in the area. There's another band that I want to give props to.
Sure.
We opened up for them recently, Rock Candy.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they are so freaking good.
Yeah. Well, I actually Bill from Paragon
Sure.
said, "Hey Renee, I had a band cancel. Can you fill in?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Do you recommend anybody?" I said, "Well, there's this new band called Rock Candy. They're out of Cape Coral." So he called him, and now that's his new favorite
Oh
band,
yeah,
And I
they're
go,
like playing
"Sure,
every.
I didn't get any credit for that. He didn't even know they existed.
Yeah,
Like so." And I said, "Yeah," because I had seen him at Twisted Fork, and we very rarely get out to see bands, but I was impressed, and she can sing like
yeah.
crazy, and
Siren, her name
yeah,
is. Yeah.
hmm
So I'm starting to see as many bands as I can when I'm not performing. And this summer we had a lot of downtime, so I got to see Sunset Strip. Oh,
I've seen
great,
videos of them. Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, they sound very good
Their
on their
lead singer,
videos.
his name is Tyler, and that guy can hit those notes, man. All that nice hair metal stuff.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yes. I saw some videos. I was impressed. Yeah.
Twisted Fork always has good bands, right?
Yeah,
I've
I
never
think
seen
so.
anything that's not good there. Even this guy, you ever see Rusty Wright? Wright, his name is.
Yeah, Rusty Wright band. No, I have not. I've seen
Oh my
videos
gosh.
because I do go on their page. That's how I see a lot of the videos.
When you look at the guy, you wouldn't assume, you would just maybe not think that he's like as good as he is because he doesn't necessarily look like a rocker in my mind, but
hmm
yet he's fantastic and he plays and sings and sounds fantastic. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I unfortunately I can't see a lot of bands live. So I was kind of happy when I got on the seafood festival like schedule because then I'd get to see whoever was before us or
Yes,
after
that's
us.
right.
We'd stay and watch because I'd say, "Hey, here's an opportunity to watch some other bands." That's how I saw you for the first time at Siesta Key.
That's right. So
Yep.
we met at Siesta Key. We opened up for you guys, and then you met my new singer Brittany Jones in Englewood.
Yeah,
I just
Englewood.
happened to be
Yep.
on a family cruise, so I wasn't there. So I got a fill-in bass player, and I hate to miss the seafood festivals because we really enjoy playing those.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and
Yep.
like you said, you can get there early, hang out later, and get to see some other bands, right?
Right.
And talk to people. So, fortunately, I wasn't there, and it was her first show with us,
It was her first
and
show. She did good. She
I
did
was
good.
nervous because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." I'm like, "I hope she does well. I hope she does well."
Yeah.
And, I was checking with friends that were in the audience because again, I'm on a boat in Mexico. So I'm like texting,
Yeah.
international, rates,
Yeah.
whatnot. And they're saying, "Oh, she's doing good. She's doing good." So she had a great set. And then she stuck around and she told me that she saw you guys and she was impressed with you guys.
Oh, that was
And then she
nice.
said that you said something nice. You gave her a shout out. You said something nice on the mic, like Jacked Up's doing great or did great or something. She
Yeah.
liked that. She said that was very nice of you to do that.
Oh, well, look, I was giving her props,
'Cause she's
that
young,
especially yeah, but especially being her first gig, and you had to be a ball of nerves on that
Oh,
cruise
totally,
ship
man.
because, you knew the bass player filling in for you, that he would
Oh
do a
yeah,
great
yeah,
job?
yeah. I'm so fortunate. I
Okay.
know so many musicians.
Yeah.
But Jacked Up's my baby, and we built the brand over the years, right? So there's
Yep.
certain expectations that we all have and our fans have. So I didn't want to go backwards. I mean,
Right.
I went. This is Brittany's my fourth female singer. I started with Dana Bienvenue,
Mhm.
DCX, who's now the lead singer of Bradenton Kentucky Death Race,
Oh, okay.
and then I had Jenna. Jenna's now the lead singer of FM Stereo. They just played TJ Carney's. It's a
Okay.
new
A new
band.
band? Okay,
Yeah,
yep, I haven't heard of
Jenna
them.
Robinson.
Okay.
And then we had Julia Brown, who was with us for a while. Now she's doing her own thing, the Julia Brown Band. She also sits in with Cabana Dogs. So now we're on our
Okay.
fourth singer, Brittany
Okay.
Jones. So
Now was Julia Brown way back in the day, was she in, something Cherry Bomb? Cherry
no,
Bombs? No?
no,
Okay.
different
Okay.
Julia, different Julia. Julia came here from I think the Detroit area, the Michigan area,
Okay.
and she's more of a solo person. So the Jacked Up, we changed our music around. We started doing more like bluesy rock. as
Okay.
opposed to like, the fun stuff. Oh, you know what we're doing now, which is interesting?
What?
We're doing Donna Summer. We're doing like I Will Survive. We're doing like some of that 70s disco stuff.
Nice. That's gonna go over big.
It's fun.
Yeah. I
I,
do
I,
that with our duo,
I never thought,
stuff
as
like
a
that.
bass player who loves rock, I never thought I would be playing that stuff. And that's the funny thing about being a musician, right? Is that we no longer play to ourselves for ourselves. We play for the crowd.
Right.
For an example, when I first started out, I had a preset in mind of what I wanted to play. And then as I became a musician, I transferred into an entertainer. So
Right.
now it's like I play for the dance floor.
Exactly.
So I'm playing songs that I don't necessarily care for, but yet they work
Yep.
and people love them.
Yeah. I fortunately like every song I sing, and then we have our duo take two, and I sing a totally different
So tell us about Take
genre.
Two. What is Take Two?
So take two has been around 26, almost maybe 27 years, and
Who's in
it's
that?
just me and Tommy,
And does Tommy
and
play
he's
drums?
keyboards actually.
Really?
And it's more the keyboard is, he's playing a lot of drum parts on the keyboard and just filling. We mainly use tracks because there's only two of us, so we sound like a full band, but we're not. And it's a duo and it's a show. And I hand out cowbells and shakers and tambourines. The whole audience has all that stuff. And then I sing everything from Lady Gaga to Patsy Cline to Shania,
Wow.
Cher, Stevie Nicks, Celine Dion. It's like, and it really showcases my voice. Like when you come see the band, it's just rock, pretty much. And then you come see Take Two, and you're like, holy crap! You're like, I'm singing Celine Dion songs. Not so much anymore. I mean, I will if somebody requests it, but yeah. And I got 4 CDs out with Take Two, and yeah,
Really?
yeah, like they're all covered
Are you
CDs, but
using a tablet on stage? Are you what are you
no.
doing for lyrics?
So I
Are
make a joke.
you memorizing your lyrics?
No. Well, I have most of them memorized, but, and Frank makes fun of me for this. I laminate a sheet of paper, typed out, and it's laminated, and I will make a joke at the shows, like, if especially it's a new song, I'm like, "Hold on, everybody, I gotta get my iPad out," and then I'll show my words laminated, and everybody starts laughing, and I go, "Yeah, now I'm showing my age," because that's what we had to do back
That's
in the day,
funny.
so
So
I
like
still do it.
those plastic things where you can put a document inside of it and then like it's got the three-hole punch in case you want to put it
No,
inside
and
of a
mine's actually laminated. I have a laminating machine
Oh,
at
you have a
home
machine. I got you.
because I gotta do the menus for the restaurant and all
Oh,
that
I see
stuff.
what you're
So
saying.
yeah, yeah.
So can you
So it's
recycle those?
laminated.
Like once it's laminated, you have it, you could just use it, maybe flip it over and use the other side.
Yep. But usually my words are on the other side. So you'll see me halfway through the song, be singing, 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 bend down, flip it over.
Maybe you could figure out a way to do it with your feet, like
Yeah. So I just make a big joke about it and everybody, laughs
it's
and
so
stuff.
funny because my lead guitar player Larry sometimes he doesn't see the print because as we get older,
Yeah.
our eyesight goes. So he'll skip a song. So he has to start a song and he'll start the wrong song. So the running joke is that we just do what Larry tells us to do, basically, based on his eyesight.
Right. Right. That's good. Yeah, because Frank said, I don't know how you can even see that. And at Twisted Fork, when I did the new Van Halen song, I said to Brad was on lights. I said, Brad, don't you dare turn these lights off. 'Cause, like,
I
oops.
know
Yeah, like it.
that happens sometimes
Yeah,
in
and I'm trying
clubs
to
when
read
you're
my.
indoors
Yeah.
in a club. That happens sometimes, or they put on a blue light. All of a sudden, you can't see. One time, I couldn't see my fretboard in this one particular club. So somebody said you got to buy these little dots, and you put them on, and like it lights up where your fingers need to be. It's pretty interesting,
Oh.
yeah,
Hmm.
for those emergencies when you
Right.
can't see.
Yep. That's cool.
So tell us about you got started in the music business. So how old were you? What were you listening to? Right, like what were your early influences and albums that you collected? Perhaps maybe concerts you went to.
Okay. So this gets pretty good. So I am the third daughter. I have two older sisters and a younger brother, but my dad used to play guitar just for family friends. He never played
And this is growing
professionally.
up now in Wisconsin.
Yes. And my dad's asked my older sisters who wants to sing with me, and they passed, and I said I'll sing. I was 4, and so my first song was Froggy Went a Courtin'. It's my dad played a lot of folk music. And so I would sing for company that came over, and there's a line in the song that says, you're not a frog, you're a horny toad." And then all the audience, the adults laugh because it's talking about how this frog was trying to hook up with this mouse and everything. And so then they'd all laugh, then I'd laugh. I didn't know what I was singing. And,
It was
so
cute, by the
yeah, it
way.
was cute. And then 9 years old, this the 4-H club was doing Little Orphan Annie. Yeah, or Annie. And they came and did a performance, and I just was like, "What is this?" I'm 9. So I went out and bought my first album was Annie. And then acted out the whole thing, what I saw at school and did the whole thing, and I took it into music class, and the music teacher at the time, her daughter had the lead of Annie, and, so I sat down and performed in front of the whole class, and my music teacher didn't even know I could sing. So she said, "I'm gonna give you a solo at the Christmas concert, a whole song, not just part of a song, a whole song." So she had me practicing for a month, oh, Little Town of Bethlehem. Night before the concert, she changes the song on me to Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire with 3 verses. I'm 9, night before. So I don't know if she was sabotaging me. I don't know what she was trying to do, but I did screw up the verses, but I just kept going. So I think I knew from then, like I'll just wing it, if I have to and make it work and everything else. And then so then on, always got a solo and that kind of thing. But I didn't start singing for professionally till I was 16 and was joined a band with college boys. And it was I played with the guy in high school. He went off to college and then met up these with other musicians and said, "Hey, I got this singer. She's in high school, but she's really good." So we had our first band called The Wait, WAIT.
So was The Wait a cover band of
Yep.
rock and roll from songs from that era?
Yes. Did a lot of Heart, Fleetwood Mac.
And Heart is not easy to sing,
No,
right?
but back then I was 16. I could hit those notes like easy.
The
And that's one song,
Barracuda and
like,
all that.
yeah, Barracuda, Heartless, Magic Man. We did like 7 Heart songs, and then we did Pat Benatar, and we did tons of Fleetwood Mac. And then we went on. That was like I was in that band for 4
So what
years.
was it at that point, were you doing the bars in the area?
hmm
And you were only 16 though, were you allowed to go inside and sing in the bars?
My mom and dad had to go to all the shows for about the first year and a half, and then the clubs all knew us, and then they knew me, so it didn't matter. They didn't have to keep coming to every show. By senior year, we were playing 3 times a week. So, and all my teachers, I'm from a very small school. All my teachers would come see the band. So I'd see I was more friends with the teachers and the older people because I was always around those people. And I was never like at the high school parties. I played every weekend. I missed my prom. I missed my homecoming. I was playing other proms and homecomings. And so I didn't really have the typical,
But you must have
high
been
school
the
thing.
cool senior rock girl that walking around campus, like, you were the little rock star, right?
I don't know. I
Were
mean,
you
it
known
was
for
like,
that?
yeah, I mean, when you say campus, our our school was 400 students from freshman to senior. Each class had about 100 kids. And I knew everybody knew everybody, and, I mean, I got along with everybody, but nobody treated me differently or anything like that because 'cause they've always just known me as singing my whole life.
But the cool thing is you're up there singing at a young age, you're getting paid for it,
Yep.
right? You're learning material.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So how much longer did that band last?
So, I got married and pregnant, and so I quit singing for 2 years, and that's really the only time I took
Wow.
off from 16 till now, and, then I missed it so much, and it does kind of it's my life.
It's your
It's
well,
my
it's
it's my high.
right,
That's so I
right.
wanted I
Passion I was gonna say passion.
Yeah, it's my passion, it's my high, and I was gonna, uh, touch upon drugs. That's why I didn't need them. Singing gave me that endorphin that thing, and I was offered, with the bandmates in, as high school, they're, "Hey, you want some pot? Blah, blah, blah," and they're passing around. I'm like, "No, no, no, I sing." So, I found out at a young age, peer pressure, it really isn't they don't wanna
Were
share their drugs, they're just trying to be
were
like,
were a
I
lot
mean,
of
for me
kids
anyway, they all didn't give me
right.
any shit
So
for it.
you didn't give in to peer pressure because you
No.
knew that you had to sing and that
Yeah.
was what you wanted to
And
do.
then I'd say that, and they'd go, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," and they'd just keep going, but they never teased me about it.
Right.
Yes, I drank, you'd be at beer parties and stuff like that, because I'm from Wisconsin, there's nothing else to do. And, um, but I never did cocaine because for some reason, being in Wisconsin, I could be walking down the street and I'd get a bloody nose. I had like something with very, very thin veins or something, but I had chronic bloody noses all the time. So that's why I never did cocaine because I'm like, no, I'm prone to get bloody noses and stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
that's awesome.
kind of weird.
You know what?
It's weird,
A
but
lot of people
yeah,
our age and older, I think that drugs are something of the past, right? I mean, like, not for you per se,
right.
but like other people that I know, that was big in the 80s and 90s. And now we're at a
Yes,
point in our lives now where it's like, I don't, you don't want to get sick or have a heart attack or a stroke. You know what
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
saying? Plus, you can't perform like that anyway.
yeah.
It's so funny because everybody I know has a marijuana card, and a lot of people are taking those gummies,
Gummies.
right? They
Yeah.
seem so popular. So, like, I'll be out with a friend, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to get a drink?" And my friend will be like, "No, I'm on a gummy. I don't need a drink." I'm like, "Well, when did you took the gummy? You never told me that." That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like people take gummies and like they just like vitamins.
Yeah, they can, if I had a bad experience with one, so I've never haven't done it since.
Well, I'm also drug free, but I do have gummies in my cupboard for some reason as like an emergency,
Mhm.
and they just sit there. I don't know if they expire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, my experience was, um, I took it for pain, for arthritis and going to sleep, and I left them in the car and they melted. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, what are these?" And then I grabbed it, put it in the fridge, and so now it looked more like a fruit roll up. So I don't know how much I'm taking, so I take a strip, and I go, "Oh, that possibly can't be enough." And I took another strip without even letting the first strip
Sure.
even take
That's a common
effect.
story, actually. A lot of people have
Oh,
that
and it
experience.
was bad. I mean, it was really bad, so I've never done it since. So, yeah, I think those are dangerous a little bit.
I think so
So,
too. I think so
yeah.
too. So tell me more about like your concerts that you went to, some of your bands. I mean, you hit on Heart, Pat Benatar. I'm sure Pat Benatar was a huge influence for a
Yes,
young
she
woman.
was, and
Like,
but
wasn't she like the first legitimate, you know,
rocker.
rocker
Mhm.
that, had albums that translated to MTV? I mean,
Yes.
like Madonna was like still, very poppy, but Pat Benatar was like, she was a tough chick. I mean, Joan Jett was probably before her, but I don't think Joan Jett got the credit that she deserved. I think
Right.
Joan Jett was a pioneer,
Yeah.
but I think Pat Benatar was more of like a MTV darling.
Yeah. Pat Benatar was huge. My first concert, I was 16. So we were not allowed. I'm actually my parents became born again Christians. So from an early age, there was no rock music. There was no very limited TV. If we were caught, then caught watching something we shouldn't be on TV, then we were grounded from the TV. So I grew up in a very, very strict household. So for me to be in a rock band is really unusual. And if we bought a rock record, we had to kind of hide it. So, because my dad would break them. And,
Really?
and I was paying $10 at a very young age because, we had to buy our own stuff. And then to see it get broke, I was like, "Oh my gosh," so then I started getting smart and just bought 45s. Like Pat Benatar, if there was a crazy, guitar solo on it, he would say, "Oh, what is that?" And he'd
No
break it.
kidding.
Yeah. So
Even though he played guitar.
he played guitar, but but he got into the Lord and it
So it
was
was like
like,
rock and roll the devil's music in his mind.
yeah, yeah, pretty
Wow.
much. Yeah. And so he was kind of an extremist. So but by the time I turned 16, we had let me back up. He had started an auction company. And so the auction company kind of became priority and then church kind of became less and less. And that was at age 12. And that I started working for them because that's when they started the business. And so that's when, like, hey, you're making money now. You can buy your own clothes. You can buy your own anything you need. And so I learned at a very young age how important money is and how to hustle. And I've always had several jobs. Like I don't even know how many jobs I have right now. Probably six, if I think about it.
Is that the way you're naturally wired? Like you just
Yeah,
have to always be working?
yeah. In high school, I had three jobs. So I worked for my
So
parents'
you had a good
auction.
work ethic at a young
Yeah,
age,
and had a great grade point average.
but you also had money too, like that. So as a result, you had cash in your pocket.
Yes, but we had to buy our own car, pay our own car insurance. But it made me very independent, and I don't regret any of it. I mean, they made me who I am. But people always go, "Man, you're a hustler. You're a hustler." But I think that's why. Like I was just kind of
Well,
brought
plus,
up that way.
it translate to today, you're running a restaurant, which we'll talk
Hmm.
more about later, and you're running a band. And I know from experience, running a band is not easy.
No,
It's like herding cats.
yeah,
We mentioned how hard it is to get people together for practice.
right,
As cover bands, we have to get together and practice because we have to add new stuff. You can't play the same stuff, over and
right.
over and over again.
Yep.
Then you got to collect the money from the venues. You got to pay out the guys, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of that. I just had to go through hoops. We're doing the city of Northport, which we're excited to do.
Right.
It's a big outdoor festival they do a couple times a year. But I had to fill out all this paperwork. I had to show proof that I wasn't employing children.
You're like,
That
they act like children
that
sometimes. Yeah.
I have insurance, obviously.
Hmm.
Like I had to go. I had to prove that all these things. I had to go get officially documented stuff, and it was great to do it because it proves that I'm legitimate. But it was just a
Right.
hassle.
Is it right at, Sumter's, like, City Hall right
Yeah,
there in that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, that's, like, t a mile from my house.
Yeah, I think
So when is it coming up,
it's
your
going to be
show?
on Friday, February. No, February. Friday, September 20th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
And
should try to come.
what time? From what to
I
what?
think we're gonna be I think it's like 7 to 8:30.
Oh, do they have anybody after you or no?
No, it's just
Just a short thing?
it's a 90-minute set. I mean, they may have, speakers or whatever, I mean, it's something that's done for the community,
Mhm.
and I had to deal with the Parks and Recreation. Wonderful people that work there at the Parks and Recreation. You know, there's a sitcom about that, Parks
Yes,
and
yeah.
Recreation.
Yep.
So it was funny when I walked in there, I thought,
Every man wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No, and every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me it'll be until you die? Till you die, but you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the best you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave me. You ought to know.
like, you guys, when you play Twisted Fork and Maiden Cane, there's large crowds of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we are very, very blessed with our, I call them my guerrilla army. And we couldn't do it without them. Like you say that too. I think about we can't do it without our fans,
Well,
like,
that's a lead up to my next question.
yeah.
Why the name Gas House Gorillas?
Well, when we first started, uh, we had different band members and were trying to decide on a name, and every name I came up with, no, no, and somebody else would come up with a name and we'd go, no. And so one day at practice, Tommy just stood up from behind the drum set and said, Gas House Gorillas. And we're like, what? And he's like, name, Gas House Gorillas. And finally, the guitar player at the time said, I like it. And then we went with it. And I wasn't too keen on it because I thought, Gas House Gorillas, they're not going to know there's a female in the band, like, and we actually years later had, we were playing the Cabana, new owners. They didn't know who we were. And they called me and said, we just want to ask you if you believe in the Holocaust and and what kind of music do you play? And I was like, where
Oh,
are they
like it was
going?
extreme, like
And
death metal?
and I no, and I guess because Gas
Yeah,
House was in our name,
sure.
they thought, Holocaust. And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. It's based off of baseball bugs. I don't know if you can see that. But it's so yellowed because this is very, very old. I took it out of my garage.
Yeah,
But
that
on the
looks very old.
back, you can see, because when I bring up baseball bugs, and then when people see
So,
that,
I'm gonna read it. Special guest star, Gas House Gorilla. So I'm assuming this is the Gas House
yes,
Gorilla guy?
yeah, there was like 3 or 4 of them in the field, and Bugs Bunny played against all of them. Do you remember that one?
I vaguely remember
It's
this 'cause
so
I used
funny.
to watch Bugs Bunny all the
Yeah,
time.
it is so funny. So on our 20th anniversary shirt, because there's a scene where he holds up a pinup girl, and the guy was coming into base and his cigar's falling out of his mouth, and because he sees the pinup girl, because Bugs Bunny was trying anything to,
Sure he was.
like kind of cheat. And so I put that on our shirt for the 20th anniversary. And then on the back, a big 20, like it looked like a baseball jersey, the shirt. But the pinup girl was a picture of me in cartoon form.
That's
And it was
fantastic.
really cool. It was really cool.
You're very
shirt.
smart. That's a
Yeah,
great marketing
so
stuff, man.
I don't sleep much. I come up with a lot of ideas, and
So
yeah.
what's gonna be
So
for 25? Like, what's
okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll have to see what the comments are on your podcast. But we have never done a band shirt with the band photo, like like a rock concert shirt. So I was going to do the band photo on the front, and on the back, all the venues we played in
Nice.
25 years instead of tour dates.
Well, some
It'd
of
be
those
all
venues
the
don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And some people that have been following us for 25 years will be like, oh my God, I remember that place and that place and that place. There'll probably be 10 of them on there that don't even exist anymore.
That's a very
Yeah.
cool idea.
So I don't know. I'm toying with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Came to me in my sleep.
Do you get all your shirts done made locally?
Yes, I use Gemini Apparel out of Nokomis. They do all my Gas House Gorilla shirts. They do all my Pelican Alley shirts.
And you probably
So
get buy in quantity so the price comes down.
a little bit. But yeah, I do so many different designs that it's like I maybe order 72 of this one, 72 of this one, 72. Like if instead of having one design and ordering 400 shirts, then I know my cost would be way down. But I've got so many designs,
Well, the fans love that. So your
Yeah.
merch is excellent. For a cover band, you guys have a lot of product. You're
Yeah.
always displaying it. It's always for sale.
Yep.
I mean, you're like the Gene Simmons of Kiss of local cover band marketing.
Yeah, well, there comes the hustler, I guess. Yeah, my big joke is, like I pull up open my coat and say, "You want to buy a watch?" I mean, like I'm constantly like got
Well,
something
no,
for
I
sale.
mean,
You know?
Gas House Gorillas is a
Yeah,
brand, and you guys
yeah,
have, created that brand, right?
yeah.
So it's
Yes, we have.
recognizable. I mean, there's probably people that go on vacation, right? And they take pictures of people wearing your Gas House shirts
Yeah.
in other
Yep.
cities or even other
Yes.
countries, perhaps.
Yeah. Cute story. Gemini, who makes the shirts, she was down in Key West, and saw a girl on the dance floor wearing a Gas House Gorilla tank top. And she walked up to her and said, "Excuse me, I just have to tell you, we make those shirts for them." And it was really, she goes, "It was so cool to see, a Gas House Gorilla shirt down in Key West, And I was like, "Oh, that
Oh,
is
without a
cool."
doubt. You know
Yeah.
what's funny? You mentioned Key West. I would love to get my band to play down in Key West. I know our friends 22N did that one time.
Uh-huh.
They make you play a 6-night residency. Like you're playing from 10 p to 2 a 6 nights in a row.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Wow.
That's pretty strenuous.
Yeah. There's like that one club. Oh, and it's not, is it called Dirty something or but all the rock bands play
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But every time we've gone there, I've seen the same band kind of is there. And it seems like we were there one night and I go, "Oh my God, they never take a break. These guys are playing like 4 hours straight."
Yeah.
I mean, so I said, "Well, we can never do that. Or smoking, is it Smoking Joe's? Or what's that popular one down there?
Oh gosh.
Right
Excuse me.
on the main
Yeah,
main
yeah, yeah,
strip.
yeah.
I wonder if that's where 22N played, because
It,
that's
it
more
was.
okay.
That was the place.
Yeah, there you get to take a break, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah. But
that's cool. I'd like to play there. That'd
the
be
only
really
problem
cool.
is that where you gonna sleep, right? And like how you gonna like 6 nights in a row, you have to get housing. So that
Yeah.
means hopefully they'll put you up because if you have to pay yourself for housing, that's gonna be pretty pricey.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how that works. Did you ever ask them? Did
I
you
think
ask Dave
I
if they were?
yeah, I think they said that upstairs above the bar, there's places to sleep.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think one of the 22N members said to me they had to run out and buy bug spray and
Oh,
Clorox because it wasn't necessarily the
right.
cleanest and the nicest.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe in my younger days, we definitely did stuff like that. Yeah, we traveled a lot with playing in Wisconsin. We were all over the
Sure.
place.
Yeah. Did you play in Milwaukee?
Yeah, we
Because
played.
Milwaukee's got a reputation for being
Hmm.
a really good rock and roll town.
Yep, we were fortunate enough to play, the biggest club at the time was called Stars on 100. So that's where all the bands would play, but they had 2 levels, and if you we would always be down in the basement stair, and it was much smaller than the top floor. And so they like the one night, we played down below and Gerard was up top, and then I had to walk up and I'm like, "Oh, there's Gerard," like, when am I ever gonna get up there,
Sure,
and I was
sure.
about 18,
And then eventually you got
but
there probably, right?
we did. We played a couple shows there, and we played Summerfest. I was super stoked about Summerfest, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm playing Summerfest." Well, come to find out, the agent booked us in the comedy tent. They'd have a band a day open up for comedy, and then the rest of the day it was just comedy. But they'd have one band open, and I don't know why they did that, but that's where I was,
But
and
still,
I
Summerfest is still a
yeah.
big deal though, right?
But I get there and I'm not like thinking in my head what it's gonna be, and then there was maybe 20 people in there, because there's so many tents with so many bands, and I was like, "Oh, it's let down again." But I'm hoping this year will be the biggest show of my career. We got downtown Sarasota
I heard
Pineapple
about that.
Drop.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a
And
big, big high profile
and
event.
I am so stoked for it. And I said, "Oh my God." I go, "This is amazing. This will be the biggest show of my career."
It could
And
be
so,
chilly that night, so
yeah.
be ready for that.
Yep.
But my band usually does not play on New Year's Eve, so I usually go downtown. But
Okay.
I'm one of those guys where I'll get down there and then leave early to avoid the riffraff.
Yeah.
Like I'll never see the actual pineapple drop because by 12 o'clock I want to be home.
Right.
But 22N for many years was doing that. I think
Yes.
Dr. Dave did it one year. But the cool thing about that is that WWSB, which is ABC 7, they'll do live feeds and live remotes from there.
Cool.
So they'll
Okay.
show the pineapple drop. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get some good coverage, man. Like
Yeah.
Gas House will be on TV,
Yep. I'm stoked for it. I'm really excited. Tyler Butler helped get that one for us. And
out and about.
yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
I should probably have
We
him
have,
on the show one
you
day.
should. He's fun. He is so funny. I will chat on the phone and stuff, and he's got me crying. And I said, "Dude, you need to do stand up." I mean, he's a very funny guy. Yeah. He helps us a lot. He helps, he kind of represents Stottlemyre. So he does a lot of promoting for Stottlemyre's. So he'll make me little short videos to use for promo.
Good.
And he really helps out a lot. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Stottlemyre's, I see you there once a month,
Hmm.
right? You're at obviously Twisted Fork regularly.
Yeah, they're not once a month, but about maybe seven,
Sandbar,
8 shows.
you're at Sandbar regularly.
No, not anymore.
No,
No, we got like 6 shows, and then one got canceled because of rain. So we're only there
I
5 times this year. We're
rain
only
is
there,
horrible, right?
yeah, and we're only there 5 times next year. That's it.
When we book when we as booking people, July, August, and September is always the worst because it's like hurricane threat,
Hmm.
high rain, thunder, lightning. So a lot of shows will get canceled.
Yeah.
For some reason, I
And no
always
pay.
oh, yeah, right,
Like, it's like, you
right.
know?
Of course, you gotta play to pay, but did you ever
Yeah.
have a situation where, like, you played and then maybe you only did a half of a show? Did they give you half the pay or did they pay you in full still?
Um,
I'm not t
yeah, no,
any
no,
venue.
that's fine.
Any venue.
I'm trying to think now, I used to play Sharkies a ton with Take Two. That's how Take Two really got put on the map. We played Sharkies every Friday. And they had a rule, and it's kinda like this most places, that if you show up, you'd get half the pay. If you call from home and they cancel you, you get nothing because you never left your house. If you start unloading and you're, or maybe that was when you got half the pay. They kinda go like, and then if you play even 1 or 2 songs, you got paid full because you set up everything,
Sure.
you're there,
And
and that's how it should be.
our gear
I
is
mean,
expensive, man, and it
yeah,
could get
yeah.
damaged, you know?
Oh,
Like,
big
the
time.
first thing I worry about, I always bring tarps now, because the
Mhm.
minute it starts raining, the first thing I do is I have powered speakers. We
Yep.
make sure that we cover those speakers
Yeah.
before we even worry about our guitars. Like, cover the system and turn it
Yeah.
off so we don't get electrocuted.
Exactly. That just happened to us at Stottlemyre's, just the last time we were there. And it came out of nowhere. And thank God there was 2 garbage bags up on stage, probably from a previous band or something. And we threw those over the top and we thought, okay, it's just gonna come and go. And it wouldn't stop. And then we had to bring them up onto the stage. And I was just hoping we didn't damage them.
It's so funny you say that place because of all the venues, for some reason, the rain comes in sideways there. Isn't it
Yeah,
weird?
it is weird.
You know? It's like it's not just, it's like and it's like, "Whoa, where's it coming from?"
Because you are protected under that tiki. The band is, but then that dance floor, and we have to put our speakers on the dance floor. That's not protected.
There's no better place to play, I think, and then during season,
Yeah.
sandbar during season when it's packed
Yep.
and there's a line to get in and people are waiting an hour for a table and then they all hang out by that railing and they're watching you.
Yeah.
It's a fun place.
Yep.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. It's
And the
very
food's
fun.
good too.
Hmm.
What do you think about when people come up to you in the middle of a song and they'll try to get your attention
Yeah.
and they'll ask you for a request? Or sometimes, you know what they're doing now is they're typing it into their phone and then they're coming up to me
Acting
on the
like you can
stage
read that.
and they're putting their phone on my face and it says like, Margaritaville, you know, and we're in the middle of like doing a song,
Yeah.
and then I got 3 more songs that we're going to do without stopping. And I can't have the inner ears on as well. Maybe I can't. So what do you think of those situations? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, I just had one to top all of that. Just happened at Twisted Fork this last Saturday. So I don't drink till after the show. If somebody buys me a drink, I will have it after
What is your
because
drink of choice, by the way?
actually I like lemon drops or lately I started drinking Jaeger bombs again. I don't
Jaeger
know
bomb, old
why.
school, man.
Yeah,
Look
I
at you.
used to
They're
drink.
fun
Yeah, I don't know why I want a Jaeger bomb at the end of the night, but every time I'm at Stottlemyre's,
because you're a rock and roller.
that's what
That's
I
why.
kind of want. And but I also like those high noons or any of those seltzer drinks just because it's a refreshing drink and I'm hot and sweaty. But this lady must have known a lemon drop or something. But first song I'm in, she comes walking up to the Twisted Fork stage and sets a shot right on my big stool that I stand on. And I thought, wow, so I take it away and put it back by the drum set. Next, I sing maybe 2 more songs. She walks up and puts 2 pieces of pizza on my
that's
stand,
that's
on my
funny.
stand that I get up and that's part of my show.
Yeah.
And now here's 2 pieces, and I'm trying to get JW's attention. Like, come grab this pizza off the stand. What,
No, but why pizza? That's kind of weird.
that was so that
I
topped
mean,
it.
I would
That
actually
topped
like that
everything.
personally because I'm a pizza
Yeah,
guy, but that's kind of weird.
I would have loved it, but I can't eat before I
No,
sing.
of course not.
Yeah, like a show day. My typical show day is get up around noon, start writing the set list, trying to plan out my costumes around the songs, and then uh, eat about 2 o'clock. And then I start singing at 7. I have to
I
eat. That's the
agree.
last time
I
I can
agree
eat is 2
100%.
o'clock.
No food, empty
Yeah.
stomach when you
Yep.
perform. I agree 100%.
Yes. Because otherwise you can't.
Or you're gonna belch in the middle of a song.
Well, you can't breathe. All that food sitting on your diaphragm, and you can't breathe. You can't catch your breath. Can't hold notes. It's really bad because that's happened to me. I
So, do
ate too
you and
late.
your guys enjoy cocktails on stage? If someone was to buy you bring up a tray shots, would you guys in a break enjoy that, or would you just power through your set and then not
We
drink?
would pretty much power of the Frank doesn't drink, Tommy doesn't drink, Joey will drink occasionally. Like if somebody brought it, he wouldn't want to hurt their feelings, but I really am blessed with nobody does drugs in the band. Nobody's big drinkers. Like they would say I was the big drinker because I'll do a shot at the end of the night. Like, oh, Renee's the drinker. But yeah, I mean, but if somebody did that and it was a good friend, hadn't seen in a long time, of course we would after the song was finished, we'd say a toast or something like that, but it very rarely happens.
People buy us
So,
drinks all the time, but my philosophy is you can have a cocktail before the show. You can certainly have a cocktail in the break, and we can do whatever you want after the show.
right.
But while we're on stage, my policy is no alcohol drinks on stage.
Yeah.
We only have water up there.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody was to buy us a shot and everyone's staring at us, perhaps we would do it and say,
Right.
"Okay, everybody, we're going to make a toast to America. God bless our troops."
Yeah. Oh,
Something,
that's good.
something like
Yeah.
that, and then we'll
Yeah.
we'll do it together. Because I think it's kind of rude if you
Right.
don't. Now, you could certainly put it off to the side and do it at the end of the set, but sometimes I think it's appropriate. I mean,
Right.
we're there to sell drinks. I mean, that's when you think about it. It doesn't matter who the band is, right? All the venue wants to do is sell alcohol.
Right.
So, like the Who can come in and play the Twisted Fork, but if nobody shows up and spends money, what good is it, right?
Right. Yep. Well, my biggest, I'll say I love clappers, but I love screamers way more because if you're clapping, you're not drinking because you can't clap and have a drink in your hand. So I'm constantly like to try help sell,
That's awesome.
there's,
Do you sometimes will actually announce the drink special, or will you actually go out
if
of
they
your way to
ask me
say,
to, sure, I
yeah,
will. Yeah.
because I believe in that. I believe that
Hmm.
we're partners, right, with the
Yeah.
venue, and that our goal is to try to sell food and liquor.
Right.
Sometimes I'll say to somebody, "Hey, man, I just tried that chicken sandwich that's on special. It's fantastic."
Yeah. I was talking about Stottlemyre's cornbread the other night.
Oh, I love cornbread.
Theirs is amazing.
It is
If you
amazing.
have,
But
you've had it?
of
Oh my
course,
God, it's so
but
good.
you have to ask for it because it's supposed to come with your meal, but they never seem to bring it. You got to tell the waitress, "I want my cornbread," and then
Yeah.
she'll bring it like hot and fresh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I mean,
Yep.
my sister gets that with pulled pork on
On
top of it
top. Yeah.
as a meal.
I've heard that's really good. Yeah.
But getting back to venues, so like, what are your thoughts on this? Okay. We do Facebook invitations, right? So
Right.
we try to bring as many people as we can. At Jacked Up, all I'm doing is I'm on social media. Go tonight. I'm putting up my signs a week in advance,
Right.
and then blasting it every single night. And then the day of, don't forget tonight. I'm going out of my way to make it clear that we're playing, right? And a lot of my venues appreciate that.
Right.
What do you think the responsibility is of us bringing the fans in, of them bringing the fans in? Like what are your thoughts on that? For an example, there's some bars up north that they get pissy with the bands if the crowd's not, where they think it should be, but yet they've done nothing on their part
Right.
to kind of bring them in. They're so reliant on the bands.
Right.
Shouldn't it be a 50-50?
It should definitely be a 50-50. And I feel like it's with us too. I feel like we're promoting more than the club is. And then they are used to us doing that. So they feel, oh, we don't have to do it. They've got it.
The only exception, though, is the Twisted Fork is very good at promoting. So the Twisted Fork, I think, goes out of their way to promote. But other venues around here, I'm not going to mention any names, but
Yeah.
I think that they're just like so reliant on us.
Hmm.
And I understand that they should be to some degree because look, they're paying us,
Right.
right? And like, do you sometimes look out at the audience and say, "Wait, there's a good crowd here tonight. I'm sure they're gonna have a good ring." Because as a former bar owner, I think about that. I think about the ring. And
Yeah.
sometimes when we don't get good gigs or we don't make big money, it's because I know we're not bringing in a certain ring. Like you have to
Right.
be a successful band. Like, you know what? There's a band called No Filter.
Hmm.
They're very, very good at packing wherever they go. They pack the place.
Right.
So therefore, I'm sure the ring is probably one of the bigger rings of the week or maybe even of the month.
Right.
And then they can justify asking for and receiving the pay that they want. There's a correlation, right?
Right. There is. But also, you've got, yeah, it has to be justified. Like, let's say they do play a place and they're getting their big dollar and they're new and they didn't, I mean, they definitely have to. I mean, they do pack everywhere they go. So, but I mean, how many people drink? There's a lot of dancers with that band. And I talk to the club owners and they'll say, yeah, we actually do more money with you guys than we do with this band because they have more dancers and they're just out on the dance
Right.
floor and they're not at the bar ordering drinks. And we get dancers, of course, but we also get them eating and drinking and, and I do kind of try to promote that because I know the other side of the business too. I know exactly what that club has to make to justify what we're getting paid.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so I sympathize with them because, we have entertainment at our restaurant. And so I have to I know what that entertainer has to do to justify having them out there in the courtyard. And we're very small. Pelican Alley's real small. The courtyard holds maybe 88 people, so that's tiny.
The great thing about living here in Sarasota County and Charlotte County is that there's a lot of people that love to go out and that love music, right?
Hmm.
There's so many fans out here. But the fans are mixed. There's a lot of people that are retirees that might be on a fixed budget.
Right.
right? There's a lot of you know, people that perhaps maybe go out that don't have money to spend, but they want to spend it. And then you have the ones that are just going to spend a lot of money on liquor. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different types of people that come into our shows.
Yeah. And I appreciate them greatly because when I do go out to see a band, I'm like, holy crap, this cost how much? Man, I really appreciate our fans, that this going out to come see us is a big money night for them.
You know what's great?
And honest to God, when I go out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really appreciate my fans. So I announce that all the time that we love you guys, because
Yeah, no,
it's expensive. They work hard all
there's no
week.
doubt. And the Twisted Fork, sometimes they'll have like a $30 ticket, which is
Hmm.
awesome because you get this wonderful VIP experience and you get this wonderful buffet, which is first class.
Yeah.
Like I've opened up for 3 tribute bands, right? Or 2 or 3 tribute bands, like big ones, like Aerosmith tribute, Bon Jovi tribute, where they would have legitimately, there'd be 1,000 freaking people out in the
Yep.
audience
Hmm.
and a large VIP sold out. And they'll announce that the tickets were sold out and that they're standing room only. So now Little Jacked Up gets to go up and open up for these guys, right? So
Yeah.
we do our little 60 to 90 minute set and we get to take advantage of their crowd.
Right.
So it looks like the crowd's there for us when really they're there to see the number one, Bon Jovi tribute in America, whatever.
Right.
So the great thing about it is that they're probably making good money. I mean, that there are people that are paying that money as well as drinking. I mean, it's got to be like massive ring,
Yeah. Oh
for
yeah,
that,
they do.
that
They do
night,
good numbers.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, they do very good numbers.
And as a result, they bring in some really good tributes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to seen that Kid Rock tribute. He looked really
I
good.
think
I
he's
saw
coming
some.
back.
I saw some videos. I don't know if it's the same. Maybe they got like a couple different Kid Rock because I don't know if that was the same name.
I think there is. There's 2 or 3 different Kid Rocks, but
Yeah.
there's one really good Van Halen tribute that's coming. It's called
Unchained.
Completely
Yeah.
Unchained.
Oh yeah. Completely.
I
Unchained.
love
Yeah.
those guys,
Yeah.
man. They're so good. I grew up a huge Van Halen fan.
Yeah.
And they do the Van Halen, and he does the Van Hagar stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he looks the role.
Yeah.
He's got no shirt on.
The
He's
blonde
he's got the
wig.
wig, and he was wearing those those funny looking spandex.
Yep.
Like, and he learned he does the kicks and he does the jumping. You
Yeah.
know,
And I saw a video on the Doors tribute that they brought in there, and they looked. I mean, he played the part of Jim like to the T. Like, I mean, people were like, "What's he on?" But I don't think he was on anything. I think he just really has
the
channeled him.
swagger.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
you
yeah,
have to.
it was crazy, and he looked like him, and he sounded like him, and it was pretty weird.
See, I think people have high expectations when you're going to go see a tribute act,
Yeah,
and especially if you're going to pay for it, like it's a
right.
VIP situation. You want that. Like the Aerosmith band that we opened up for, those guys went in and changed, and they put on the outfits, the wigs. I mean, they looked. One guy looked like Joe Perry, the other guy looked like Steven Tyler. Like even Tom Hamilton, the bass player, somebody had a
Yeah,
blonde wig on. So
yeah,
they really went out of their way to really work it,
right.
And then he had Steven Tyler's moves down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who's your favorite to sing of all the stuff that you cover?
Oh my
What are some of the
gosh.
stuff when you look
Well,
at the set list and you're going through your show? And what is like some songs you're like, wow, I can't wait to get to that one.
actually, well, everybody loves my Stevie Nicks. They just, oh, sing Stevie Nicks, because
Like her solo stuff or her Fleetwood Mac stuff.
all of it. Like I sing more Stevie with Take Two, but we do probably 3 songs with the Gorillas though. So I do Rhiannon, Landslide, Goldust Woman. Not all the time, like last week I didn't do Rhiannon, but we did Goldust Woman in place of it. Um, and then I do Edge of Midnight, which is Miley Cyrus, Stevie Nicks, and I always say, and meets Gas House Gorillas. And then we do that song,
Very
Edge
cool.
of Midnight. Yeah.
I like Miley Cyrus's version of Blondie. She does
Oh,
Heart of Glass.
oh yeah. Okay, I've heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're getting ready to add that. We already do One Way or Another,
Yeah.
but Heart of Glass is her version. Miley Cyrus is
Yeah.
kick ass.
Oh, I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're doing sticks now
Oh,
because
oh,
we added
cool.
we added a keyboard player,
Mm-hmm.
so we do Come Sail Away, and it's
Nice.
fantastic. I get chills when I'm on stage and we're doing it.
Yeah,
When the keyboard part goes doot 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 doot, I get these chills. It's amazing.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I like every song I do. Um, and I like to go from, let's say, oh, what song could I bring up? Well, with Take Two, let's say, I go from Stevie Nicks sounding just like Stevie Nicks to a Celine Dion song. I like to do that just to show
So
people
what
the.
Celine's got to be hard to say.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
like, what are you doing? You're doing
So I
like
was doing the Titanic song, My
no
Heart Will Go
kidding.
On.
Wow.
I do New Day, and I used to do Drove All Night. So my last CD is called Renee's Hardest Songs, Now or Never. So I made a CD with the songs that were my hardest songs because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to sing these forever. And so
You went into a
that's
studio
on
and had it
the
done properly?
yeah. Yep.
Great.
And yeah, so I have 4 CDs. Like nobody has CD players anymore. So I don't really sell them. Like some people if they still have a CD player.
Yeah,
Tyler
interesting.
Butler has my CD and then he bought a car. He got a new BMW, I think. And he said, I had to have a CD player put in so I could listen to your
That's
CD
funny.
because he loves the Stevie Nicks.
So I suppose you could put it on a flash drive now,
I could,
but
yeah.
then still, people now USBs are different now. Even
Yeah.
2.0s now. There's a C. It's interesting.
Well,
That's a
and then
great.
you don't get all the artwork
But that's a
and all the
great thing. Is
pictures,
like, how does a musician sell his or her music now at events if everything's now digital?
Right.
Like, how does that go down? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And we don't have any original. I mean, we had originals when we first started. We made a CD, had 16 originals on it, and sold 1,000 of them. Had 1,000 printed, sold all the 1,000. Then we lost band members that were a huge part of writing those songs, and so we never printed them again. But I have old, people like, oh my god, I wish you'd play "Be Your Cover Girl," and I wish you'd play blah blah blah. Like so. They were good songs, and we tried to bring back Cover Girl with Frank and tried to rewrite it and stuff, but then we're like, let's just do all covers. But we just discussed, I said, let's write an original. It's been forever. So we're working on one. I don't even know what I'm going to write about yet, but I always like to write about current events. So, and a big thing that what bugs the crap out of me is the sex trafficking and all that. So I think I might write a song about it.
interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
I try to.
I don't know. I'm toying around with it.
Yeah,
But
no, that's wonderful. I try to stay clear of anything political or religious or social stuff
yeah.
because I think it's very easy to voice our opinions. And even on my Facebook pages, I don't put anything ever there.
Right. I know.
But certainly on
You gotta be
stage,
careful.
I don't want to talk about my political aspirations or any,
Right.
goals I have or people I want to vote for. I
Yeah.
don't do that.
No, you can't. You
It,
can't.
it
When you
doesn't
run
make
a
sense,
business,
man. Yeah.
yeah, in the Gas House Grills and our restaurant, you can't. You can't be. You'll limit your crowd. You're.
So Renee, tell me about the restaurant that you and Tommy own.
Well, it's called Pelican Alley. It's in Nokomis, Florida. And it's right by the Nokomis Beach. We're kind of hard to find. We're right by the bridge. And our driveway, you gotta go into our driveway right before you hit the bridge. And all you'll see is like the big marina. And then we're tucked down into this little like kind of valley thing.
How long have you had it?
We've been there almost 20. I think Tommy's been there 29 years and I've been there 27.
Wow.
And it is the oldest restaurant in the state of Florida.
No kidding.
Built in 1903. Columbia, of course, has the historic thing for being the oldest restaurant in 1905 because of some kind of little technical glitch. But it was built in 1903
That's insane.
and it's a haunted restaurant.
Come on.
Yeah.
Have you
So,
seen any ghosts there?
oh yeah, I've been there a long time and there's been some weird stuff. And on YouTube, there's tons of videos from paranormal groups that have come in there. You just go to Pelican Alley Ghost and all these videos will pop up and you'll see what they discovered. And a lot of them have said we've never had a place have this much activity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to go for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
What kind of food?
Seafood. Very good seafood. All homemade. We make our own sauces. We make our own dressings. We make our own salsa. Everything is homemade, but we're known for our seafood chowder, which is world famous. I mean, and then our key lime pie, which is homemade.
Ooh, love that.
Everything in between is excellent. Yeah. So it's really good. We have great reviews on Google and
Do people need reservations or can they just come in?
we actually do take reservations. We're one of the few restaurants that take reservations in season because we are kind of small. But we take a limited amount of reservations on Friday night. If you want to come see Take Two, it's reservations only.
Because
And
you only
then
have 88 people.
yeah, and then it's you have to eat and drink. So we don't charge a cover charge. It's just that's how we gotta make the money.
Of course.
We don't turn the tables. They stay there for the whole time the show's going on. And in season, yeah, they'll be 3 deep standing in the walkway. And we get
Is it lunch and dinner?
lunch and dinner. Yeah,
7 days?
we are closed on Tuesdays. And season, we try to open 7 days a week, but if we don't have enough staff, we stay closed on Tuesdays. But it just depends on the staff. And it's 11:30 a.m. till 9.
And what is your role there? Are you doing everything like hostess, cook, front of house,
I wish
back of
I was
house?
the cook. No, I don't wish I was the cook. When I first started there, I was waitressing. And then I moved to bartending, and then I just fill in wherever I was needed. Tommy runs the back of the house. He doesn't cook. He's just running all the day-to-day
Sure.
things. Um, And then when we did the remodel, Hurricane Irma wiped us out. We were closed for 18 months.
Now, when you say wiped you out, did it cause physical structure
Oh yeah, we had to
damage?
tear down the kitchen to the ground and rebuild. And then you're fighting with the county constantly. That's why it took so long. But yeah, we were closed for 18 months. So we were living on music and Avon for 18 months and still paying the mortgage on that building. And I really think they wanted us to run out of money so they could just take that land, build a big high rise. I mean, it's how
Well,
they're doing that with every restaurant around.
sure.
And but we made it through, thank God, and we thank the Lord for everything that happened. I mean, it's anything I needed, I would pray about it, and the next thing you know, it would walk through the door. And so I have a brick out front that says, "We put it in His hands, and this is what happened." And so the building before Irma wiped us out was pretty much falling into the water. We're built over the water. The whole dining room is over the intercoastal,
Pretty.
and but there's the good and the bad. So when the water is super high, there's water in the dining room. Like it's just so old. And it started from all those years of that happening, it started falling into the water. And we couldn't fix it because environmentalists and all this stuff. So when Irma wiped us out, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. And thank the Lord that we made it through to reopen. And it's beautiful now. We have a glass floor in the dining room where you can see the fish.
Really? That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's very cool. Right now, it got damaged in this last storm. So we have to replace lights and this and that. So we're kind of just waiting till hurricane season's over because those lights aren't cheap, the underwater lights. And the glass kind of got a little wrecked. So we're waiting for a new piece of glass. But anyway, it is an awesome feature. And yeah, it's a cool old restaurant. So now my role there is we opened a gift shop. So I am the gift shop girl. And so I do all the ordering, the selling, the whole bit.
So during season, when all these snowbirds and vacationers come down, how do they know about it? I mean, is it just word of mouth?
Word of
Is it
mouth
so
is a
many
big one.
locals?
Yep.
Or like, are you able to get new customers in there that come to maybe Siesta Key or they'll come down to Nokomis Beach for the first time?
Yeah, we get a lot of new customers. They'll say it's their first time. Word of mouth. A couple ladies just the other day wrote a beautiful review on Venice Foodies, and just it wasn't yesterday because we were closed. Monday, people were like, "I'm coming in for the shrimp tempura. Just read this review about your shrimp tempura," and I mean, so like, yeah, word of mouth like that. Social media helps tremendously.
So Renee, I noticed on a lot of your shows, a lot of your fans are wearing your merchandise. And there's
Yes.
one particular slogan that I see called "Keep 'em bouncing."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So Keep 'em Bouncing came all about with for breast cancer awareness. Instead of Save the Tatas, I came up with Keep 'em Bouncing. And then for the I in ING, it's the breast cancer awareness sign. So for the month of October, any tank top sold, I donate $5 per shirt. Then we come out with a breast cancer awareness shirt just for the month of October. And half the proceeds from the shirt sales goes to breast cancer. And then Take Two donates all their tips for that. And so last year we raised $2,500 and I gave it to a friend of mine suffering with breast cancer.
Very impressive.
Yeah. It's an awesome thing that we do every year.
So October's coming up around the
Yeah.
corner.
Yep.
So you'll be doing it again.
Yes. So at every show, get a shirt for breast cancer if you know somebody, but it does go directly to a person. It's not going, where your money's going. And last year I presented the girl with the check at Twisted Fork, brought her up on stage. She had no idea.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, everybody loves you guys. In these final minutes, how can people find Gas House Gorillas on social media?
Okay, on social media, we just have should I look at the camera or keep looking at you?
You can look at me.
Okay. So we have just Facebook really. And so we have a Gas House Gorilla page and we have a Gas House Gorilla fan page. So I'll post like a big picture of our schedule. Like right now I have one on there that goes all the way to February. And I'm almost all booked up for
Now,
2025.
you guys play pretty much every Saturday night.
Just every Saturday.
And then you
yeah.
keep your Fridays open because you have your Take
Take
Two.
two on Fridays. Yeah.
And then, but you do play Sundays occasionally.
Yep.
I'll see you at a seafood festival.
mhm.
Right.
Yep. So I'll give him Sundays. I do have a couple Friday shows coming up. Actually, no, maybe only one. It's October 18th, downtown Venice, Sun Fiesta. And
Interesting.
we're the opening band for the weekend. So we're playing 7 to 10 on Friday night.
So you have some big stuff coming up in the next several months. I think we're going to have a kick-ass season. I think season here is going to be very strong.
I think so too.
And I think all of us cover bands are going to be very employed and You know, I know what I noticed too. The tip jar changes in the season, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
instead of singles and fives, you start seeing
Yeah.
tens and twenties.
Yep.
Occasionally, there's a $100 bill
Yep.
in there, right?
Yeah. Occasionally we get that Hondo.
It's funny because we always get asked to play Sweet Home Alabama. It's bizarre. I don't know why they think my band can, and we do it, and usually there's money involved. Like somebody
Yeah.
will come up and say Sweet Home Alabama, put $100 in there,
Yeah.
and that song is just so popular. Like I think it's boring. I'm tired of doing it, but
Right.
yet it's almost
But
like
hey.
it's like we're singing monkeys, right? And you got to sing. We got to sing for our
Yep.
supper.
Yep. We always get asked to, well, not always. At Sandbar, there's one guy loves Journey, so he'll put the 100 in for a Journey song.
What Journey songs do you guys currently do?
So right now I only do "Don't Stop Believin'," and we'll add "Stone in Love" every once in a while.
Oh, what a great
And
song!
when we play Twisted Fork, if Nate, you know Nate that does sound,
Yes,
he was gone,
I know.
and he's so amazing. And
He's great.
yeah, he was up in Detroit, and it was his
That's what I
birthday.
heard,
But he
yeah,
had
yeah,
a
yeah.
big gig up in Detroit, and so when we do play Twisted Fork, Nate will sit in and play keyboards on like
No
11
kidding.
songs. So, and we add separate ways. Then yeah, and it
So
sounds awesome.
so there's a keyboard on stage then.
He brings his
I
keyboard.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't have a keyboard player in the band,
Nope.
but yet he'll bring one and set it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes, did I see one time I saw Bert Parsley playing drums
Yep.
with you guys
Oh yeah,
once?
yeah. If he's there, yeah, he'll get up and do, and then Tommy can come out front and sing.
Because Bert
Yeah.
and his brother Marcus are the two guys who run on the show there, and they're both musicians.
Yes. Yeah.
Bert's a
Marcus
drummer.
is big time. out
Marcus
there
is
touring.
a trombone.
No,
or
trumpet player.
And
yeah.
he's with that JJ Gray, I think it's
I think so.
Mojo.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah, no, they're good.
Yeah, they're
They sell
really
out.
good.
Wherever they go, they sell out.
Well, he just played Red Rock.
Oh
I'm
my
like, oh my God, I didn't know he was that big.
I was-
And that's why I called him. I texted him and said, oh my God. Like, I mean, like he cares if that I'm proud of him. But I said,
You
oh
know
my God,
what?
I'm just so impressed. I can't believe it. And
I want to go
I
to
had
Red
no
Rock
idea.
really badly because
that
everyone that
looks so
sits,
cool.
everyone I've had that sits in that chair recently has been saying they've been to Red Rock, and I'm like, I haven't been to Red Rocks. I got to go.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
I want to
it'd be
get
cool.
Marcus on the show because I bet you he's got some great stuff to talk about.
Yeah. You should almost have the brothers on. You ever do
Interesting.
two? You ever do two people?
We have two mics. I can do it.
Yeah. Well, I said, Frank was up on Longboat Key working today, and I said, hey, why don't you just meet me over at the studio? He'll get a twofer. But no, Frank is just, the band changed when Frank joined. And
Listen,
he's going on 10
I want to meet
years.
Frank. Because
Yeah.
I love New Yorkers. Joey Fingers and I are friends on Facebook,
Yeah.
and we talk all the time. And he helps me out, gives me ideas for gear.
Yeah.
Bass players. We have this community where we like to make fun of those hotshot guitar players
Yeah.
and the lead singers that have LSD, right?
Yeah. Did he talk about Blue Magic Strings to
Oh,
you?
of course.
Yeah.
He actually turned me onto it.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
actually
good. They're really
well,
good.
Get this. I am now a Blue Magic guy, and I got my picture taken and all that stuff
Awesome.
because of Joey.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yep.
That's all I use.
Yeah. He swears by him.
They're
Yeah.
very good strings. I mean, I went from Elixir, which is also a very good string, to the Blue Magic, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. They stay in tune.
And I think he's a local guy, right? The Blue
I
Magic?
think he is, like
Yeah.
Clearwater, I want to say.
Yeah. That's good. We can promote him a little bit.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Renee.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing your band again. And everyone's going to go to your website. They're going to go to your Facebook page. They're going to see all your dates.
Yep.
And they're going to come to your next show. You have shows. We're going to show here in the show. We're going to show your schedule
Okay.
so people can
Perfect.
see it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.